Hey, happy Friday, good morning, or good evening, wherever you're joining from around the world. I am Krishan Wright, the host of the Blaxit Global podcast and the founder of Blaxit Global. I am coming on a Friday, which is unusual. Usually I go live on a Saturday or Sunday, but tonight is very special. I get the opportunity to have a conversation that I'm sure you will enjoy. I know some of you have listened to the podcast. You might be familiar with one of the people that I'm going to bring on, but two of these ladies, both together, have been part of the incredible transformational journey that I've been on. So, part of tonight is really having an opportunity to share with you the wonderful work that Tameika G and Whitney G do together in their business, the whole experience. We're going to talk wellness and health and all the things. And so, with that, without further ado, I will bring these ladies on. Welcome to the stage, Tameika G and Whitney G. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Yes, so I want to first say hello, and I want to make sure that our people, I see people are filing on, can hear us. Courtney is there and she is saying hello. She's so excited for this. Yes, thank you, Courtney. Thank you for joining. So let's start with Whitney. Whitney, you are joining us ridiculously early. You are in Bali, Indonesia. And Tameika, you, I know, have been following. I believe you are in Mexico now.
I'm in Mexico.
Oh my gosh. So we are managing the time zones, got you lovely ladies together. So excited that you're here. And like I said, one of the things that I was so excited about having this conversation, because I know we're going to talk about Costa Rica. And for many people who have been following my journey along with the podcast, know that I'm preparing to do my exploratory in Costa Rica in a few days. But also, I've talked about on the podcast, and Tameika, you've been a guest, talking about, this incredible wellness journey that I've been on, specifically this year. And you ladies played a huge role in that. And so I'm grateful for the nearly 20 pounds down. But one of the things, that I really wanted to talk about is your approach, because this is, what stood out for me. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know you all. I know our guests don't really know y'all. So let me start by letting you have a moment to introduce yourselves. Whitney, let's start with you.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much for having us. And thank you for just being a beautiful, amazing client and tribe member. You are a ray of light. So it's been a pleasure to have you a part of our tribe. My name is Whitney. So thrilled to be here. I originally hail from the Pacific Northwest, Oregon. Tameika and I met as business partners about 5 years ago. As I was in corporate America. I hit that proverbial burnout and I was like, there's got to be a different way. And it set me on my nomadic journey. I think that first year I did 16 countries, just searching to heal my soul and find this kind of recognition of things greater than the 9 to 5 grind and living for the weekend. It was always my intention to go back to grad school. And then I met this lovely soul, Tameika, 5 years ago at a cafe in Bali. And as they always say, the rest is history. We started this beautiful business, running retreats around the world. We've been in 7 countries, 4 continents. And it's just been a beautiful experience. And now we focus a lot of our energy as well in online digital coaching programs, which we get to meet beautiful women like you around the world and get to be a part of their journey. So it's just been a beautiful blessing and definitely getting to walk in my purpose. I wake up every morning because it is 7 a.m. here in Bali on a Saturday. And
Oh
I'm
my
so thrilled to
gosh.
be here because I think we learn best from sharing our stories with others and inspiring each other. So thanks for having us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here. I forgot you are completely a day ahead. Not only is it early,
I'm
but it's
back
the
in the
weekend.
future.
That is awesome. Awesome. It's so T. I'll throw it over to you. I know some people have listened to your story. You were a guest on season 2 of the podcast. But for those who have not heard your story, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am Tameika. I am from Toronto, Canada. but have Jamaican roots, always have to represent my Jamaican roots. I started my abroad journey about 7 years ago, moving from corporate Canada to corporate Hong Kong, thinking that moving abroad was going to kind of solve all of the issues I had with the corporate grind. And the issues I had were very similar to Whitney, just working extensively, and corporate Hong Kong, corporate Asia is just a whole nother ballpark of work. And I came to realize when I looked kind of above this proverbial corporate ladder I was climbing that I didn't strive to be like any of the people above me, yet I was working like it. And there was this massive disconnect between what it was I wanted out of life truly and what I was working towards. Mm-hmm. So I had traveled extensively while being in Hong Kong, working as an expat for a Canadian company. And I had traveled all throughout Asia, even dabbled in Africa and Europe. But there was something about Bali. Every time I went to Bali, it had my heart. I would go to Bali, then I would go check out a few other countries and go back to Bali. And while I was kind of on the self-discovery in Hong Kong corporate, realizing that, being in Hong Kong and corporate doesn't necessarily solve my problems with my life and what I wanted to seek, it was really just getting out and exploring. Bali kept coming up. So as a result, I also had a side hustle of health and wellness and coaching, because I also simultaneously have been passionate about health and wellness while working in corporate as an HR executive. And once I kind of had lost 90 pounds about 10 years ago, I just had adopted, taking people on as coaching clients and helping them lose weight because I was a weight loss victory. And it dawned on me while I was in corporate that I could make this a full-time job if I gave it all my energy. So with that, I decided to leave corporate. This is a very Coles Notes version because I involved saving a lot of money, planning, not being in fear, not wanting to quit, not wanting to quit. Like I went through the cycles, but it ended up with me trusting my gut, taking a sabbatical, a 1 year off, which turned into multiple years in a business with Whitney, and exploring this business that I could pursue. And I did it in Bali because Bali was my happy place. And once I was kind of 6 months into that sabbatical, I met Whitney in a cafe in Bali. It was very serendipitous. We had the same birthday and decided to just start celebrating our birthday because it had passed and we were both solo travelers. And within the first 3 weeks of knowing each other, we started a business and planned our very first retreat in Bali. It was going to be a one-off. And then after that one retreat in Bali, we kind of decided, okay, this feels right. And from that on, we've been traveling the world nomadically. I haven't gone back to corporate. Whitney has not gone to grad school. We've just been riding the wave of digital nomadism. And it's been a joy. And we do coaching programs, online coaching programs, in addition to our wellness retreats. And we have one coming up next month.
Oh my gosh, this is such an incredible and amazing story. It's like you said, it's like serendipity. You have the same birthdays, you're both on your own nomadic paths, you meet in a cafe, it's like, wait, what? And then 3 weeks later, let's do this business. And then a retreat that was supposed to be a one-off that now turns into a business, and a retreat, by the way, that Essence Magazine said is one of the top retreats. So how is this journey been? Because you both don't always travel the world together. You have, Tameika, I know you have a home base now in Germany, and Whitney, you were in Hawaii and now you're in Bali. So, but you all in the time zones, which we talked about at the start of the conversation. So how are you both managing, building a successful business with all of these additional elements at bay? I'm just in awe of it.
Wait, I'll let you take that one because she's our operations queen. You take it, boo.
And it actually adds layers of complexity because we actually have somebody in the UK that's on our team. We have somebody in the Philippines that's on our team. We have somebody in Canada that's on our team. We have a marketing team that's on the West Coast. We're bringing on another team that's going to be in India. And so when I say that we have a global team, it is So incredibly global, but it's such a beautiful blessing, I think, to see how, now like the folks that we work with are like, oh, I'm meal prepping, like people that are just on our team that came on, oh, I'm meal prepping, oh, I'm doing this. And so it's like, I think when we find really great alignment of people who are passionate about our cause, they're passionate about creating change, they're willing to wake up at the 7 a.m. on Saturday to connect. T and I have definitely had some blessings of being able to kind of come together still in our kind of rosters. So when we get to go together for retreats and things, we try to put on some extra time so we can create and connect. We were actually just here in Bali together for a couple of months so we could build everything. We've got an app coming up, which we're really excited about. So I think we live in a beautiful time of technology. Like we're right now working in 3 different time zones and getting create connection and connecting with these beautiful followers of yours. Like that's such a blessing that I think was a silver lining of COVID, kind of helped us get more out there in terms of utilizing and leveraging technology to create connection. And then also just making it a mandatory for T and I, like we do weekly meetings, and like the first part is like T and I are friends, so sometimes we get caught up in like the work, and it's like, wait, how are you? What's going on? So I think it's like a fair amount of like now starting to step into this new lifestyle where T might be a little bit more based and I might be a little bit more based, is like, okay, how do we do corporate retreats for ourselves? How do we build in the sustainability and like remember that we are friends first? And while our lifestyle might be changing a little bit, we can still make sure that we're bringing like love, passion, and everything and the mission to the forefront of everything that we do as we try to navigate these very non-traditional 9 to 5 jobs that we have.
Yeah, I mean, your ethos as a business and the philosophy is really extended because, like I mentioned earlier, this was my first time, going into a program like this. And I did it in part because of Tameika's transformation, but then also it's like you two collectively bring the best of both worlds. You, Whitney, with the meditation and the mindfulness and the affirmations. I love those. Your voice is so calming and soothing, especially in the morning or when I get ready to go to sleep at night. And then, and yoga and whew, I was like, oh yeah, I could do this. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this. And this is a journey, right? I don't have to be perfect. I can be consistent and then I'll have progress. And then it's like tea with what was it, the Tabata? I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this. And I'm like, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, this is easy. Then you're like, wow, this is challenging. And then getting it through, right? It's like I can get my Atta girls, and then whether it's me cheering myself on or the other members of the tribe, you've built this collective community that of women that are supporting one another, cheering each other on, even dealing with each other's life issues, because there's life in the middle of all of this that's happening. But all of that enables us to have like this consistent progress, and it's not necessarily like a competition. It's like you're running the race at the pace that is yours, and you have everyone that's in your corner and cheering you on. So as you mentioned, the meal plans, and you're talking about meal prepping, which to me was very foreign before, but it's like, oh my gosh, this like it's so simple. Or the treat days and just all of those things. So I just am very grateful that the universe brought us, like you mentioned, different time zones, different continents even together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I was really passionate about, having you ladies on and talking about your wonderful journey together. And yeah, I'm excited about, all the life stages and changes that are coming your way. So let's segue a little bit and talk about Costa Rica, because as I mentioned, I'm about to journey, and it is one of the popular Blaxit destinations, which is in part why I'm visiting. But then you ladies decided, we know COVID put a monkey wrench in everybody's plans last year, but you ladies decided that you were coming back and coming back strong for your community. So talk a little bit about the decision to go to Costa Rica, and then kind of what people can expect with the retreat.
I'll take this one. So I would say Whitney and I sat long and hard to see how we're going to re-enter the retreat space, because just for the people watching, we have not run a retreat in 18 months. In fact, our last retreat was in March 2020 in South Africa. So if you can remember what happened in March 2020, it was definitely traumatic, where Whitney and I said, we need a break. And we took a long break to heal ourselves, work through the collective trauma our entire community had gone through. So we didn't rush this decision. But it was on our heart now that things are kind of semi-normal, or we're living in the new normal, to pick a place and a destination that felt really right. And it was really important that we found a destination that was accessible for our target market, which is primarily North Americans. So not too far, because travel is still a little scary right now. It was also really important that we found a place that embodied what we wanted to do with this retreat. The theme is rejuvenation. Rejuvenation to us means let's pour into ourselves. Let's do all the restoration, relaxation, all the re's, because it's such a dire time of need. Mental health is on a rise like never before. Mental health issues or crises are on a rise like never before. We are feeling isolated and lonelier than never before. We're just in a really bad time. So how can we really feed rejuvenation into our community? And Costa Rica is it. I think if anybody knows of Costa Rica or has been or heard of Costa Rica, it is a healing space. It's a healing sanctuary. It's surrounded by nature, jungle. They're all about just, doing really good things for the environment. And it felt so aligned as far as where we wanted to go and what we wanted the feeling of the retreat to be. So that was how we picked Costa Rica. We went even further and found a blue zone. So for your followers who aren't familiar with what a blue zone is, a blue zone, there's only 5 in the world. And there are areas in the world where people live the longest, centenarians, so people live well over 100, are the happiest, disease-free, and are the healthiest. So they're pegged as blue zones. There's 5 around the world, and we're going to one in Costa Rica called Montezuma. So when we found this incredible space, it's a compound, it's huge, in a blue zone, which is basically everything we want to embody. It was just the alignment and the stars were all there. Like, we have to go. So we found an incredible compound, we'll call it. It's massive because it was really important for us, for the safety of everybody, to have the space, and also for the rejuvenation to be in the jungle. 3 pools, beautiful suites, hammocks, lounging areas everywhere. We're walking distance to waterfalls. We're coastal, so we have beach, and it's just going to be a rejuvenating experience. It's 7 days. All your food is taken care of. All your activities are taken care of. We're doing a lot of different things. We're hosting in a way that we haven't hosted before. Our trips historically have been all about fun and joy, and that will still exist, but we're doing things like cacao ceremonies and sound healing and things that are really going to just help pour into our tribe, because, girl, we need it. We'd be tired. We'd be tired after the year that we've had. So Whitney and I have finally rested up and are just ready to pour into the community. So yeah, this is the beauty of Costa Rica. I don't know if you'd add anything, Whit, but that's why we picked it, and that's what we're most excited about.
And I think also traditionally we've done really far away destinations from where most of our clients come from, which is predominantly North America. So we've been in the South Africas, we've been in the Europes, we've been in the Balis and Thailands of the world, and so we really wanted to make something super accessible, so that for those of us who are kind of taking those initial steps out into the world again, you feel really held. For most of us, it's a quick flight over to Costa Rica. So Tameika and I have been on the 40-hour flights. We've been doing all the things. I'm over here in Bali right now. That's going to be a fun one, heading back to Latin America. But we just wanted to make something super accessible. So, and we are the girls that, if you want to travel, but you're feeling a little nervous about it, it's we hop on the phone. We've been talking to moms and dads and husbands, and we make sure that you are feeling held from the minute you leave your door to when you reach us, and then your entire experience. So really wanted just to create a very safe environment where you just can kind of step and re-enter that world of travel with a lot of ease and grace.
That's fantastic. And there's so much, that's included. And I, for those of you that are watching, I put it in the comments, the link to the site that I just had on the screen, so you can see all that's included, like the meals and, you mentioned the pools, and, I can already assure you that these 2 ladies will take such good care of you. If I didn't already have my plan, and I think T and I are going to miss each other by a day.
A day, one day.
Like by a day. But like I said, I can vouch for, as a member of the tribe, that with this whole transformation that I've been on, that the transformation that these ladies have shared individually, that actually wound up bringing them together to create this wonderful enterprise, right? And just seeing the transformation that your business is having, that I know with people and everything that they're dealing with, even in 2021, the drama and the trauma of 2020, and just the need to like slow things down, like hit pause, hit the reset button, get things poured into you, be still, right? I mean, sometimes the biggest challenge is, if even if you find the time, it's being able to be still in that moment and quiet your mind and listen to the universe and listen to whatever it is that's calling you, that might be sitting on your heart or might spark an inspiration for something. And then being open to sisterhood, right? Like these wonderful ladies have, and was able to then germinate something so beautiful that has impacted so many lives around the world. I mean, that is something that is incredible. And I hope you ladies, marvel in that. Like you wake up and like, this is my life. Like I built this, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is so. I want to not ignore the comments, because I see like the comments are coming in. So Karen's here. Hey Karen, and she's in Blaxit Global Passport, as well as the Blaxit Global Facebook group. And so so beautiful. And Courtney, yes, talking about Whitney being up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and then just all the feels about, the amazing, amazing journey that you ladies have been on. And yes, Courtney says, Dear Lord, please let this retreat be in your will for my life to attend this retreat. Yes, yes, you have to attend, please. And I mean, and also in the comments, these lovely
Claim
ladies,
it.
so kind enough and generous to offer a discount code for our community. So if you use Blaxit 2021, you will get 150 off of the package. So that is so fabulous. So it's like, you click the button, you put in the code, and then bloop, the magic happens. So I want to thank you for the generosity, of course. And yeah, so yes, I think it's like just energy and resonating with everything that you're saying. And oh yes, the pictures, the pictures, those pools, the blue zone. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I know we
Yeah.
are all collectively tired. I mean, and it's interesting is, you both have had your own respective journeys in corporate, and burnout and all these things. And now, right, we're in 2021, or towards the end of 2021. Can you believe it? And the big thing has been, at least in the US, the great resignation. People have been working remotely and dealing with the pandemic, dealing with additional drama and trauma, not having, as T mentioned earlier, an outlet, to deal with any mental health issues. That may mean, who's not dealing with mental health issues? I mean, we are dealing with a collective trauma. I don't want to minimize or ignore that. But then also doing that while either taking care of kids or elderly relatives and making sure they're okay, or managing now working from home, when maybe if you're an extrovert, you might not have liked your job, but you did like maybe the people, or you liked physically leaving the house. And then now your routine has been altered. Or if you've been hitting the gym and doing all the fitness, and then, that was interrupted. So there's been so many ways in which people have had to deal with so much disruption. And then compounded in that, you know, coming back to work or not coming back to work and all of that. And that people are starting to realize, like, hey, if I've been doing my job at home for, 18, 19, 20 months, and maybe I'm fine, or, I want to go back into the office and then I can't, like, people are just like, you know what? I've had enough. I've had enough.
Mhm.
And so I think that the timing of this retreat is even more important because, the timeliness of the treats and the retreat. And I don't know if you shared the dates, because I think that would be helpful for those that are watching, whether they're watching live or the replay, to know that you're offering it 2 times, correct?
Yeah. So November 20th to the 27th and December 4th to the 11th. So the 20th to the 27th was over Thanksgiving. We always do a retreat over Thanksgiving for those people who just need a break from the tradition. We'll definitely make Thanksgiving very special. We've done some gorgeous, amazing dinners in the past, and we've all said what we're thankful for. You're just doing with a new tribe and new family and new sisters. So those are the 2 dates that we're hoping to host. And it just happens to be in a really great time when Costa Rica is sun is starting to come out. It's after rainy season. It's going to be a really good, nourishing time.
Yeah. And, knowing that the new year would be afoot, it's a nice time, I think, for people to take that break and, you know, set some new goals and things like that, and just be, able to commune with one another and release. And how perfect to do that in a restorative area such as Costa Rica, and then just the energy of the blue zone. And oh my gosh, it's like, and you said it's Montezuma is the place that you're saying. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah. It's
amazing.
like Google Montezuma. It's a little bohemian beach town. It's just a vibe. It's just laid back. It oozes rejuvenation, which I think was what really spoke to us in picking it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, what do you think, kind of moving a little bit away from it for a bit? You talked about a couple things, that are coming your way between the retreats and then also planning this app. And so, can we like go back a little bit and talk a little bit about that? Because I want to get to some key points in your respective story as business owners and your individual stories that I think will be really resonant with the community, because that's pretty powerful. Like, this doesn't, I mean, I know y'all, so I know this isn't going to be an everyday app.
No.
Exactly. So who wants to take it?
I'll let Whit take it because she's been the lead on the app, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, one of the things that we really recognized is that this message is so necessary because in the retreat space, as much as we saw it being very linear and not very inclusive and encompassing, we also saw the fitness industry as kind of doing some of us a disservice in terms of like, it's really about like, drink this diet tea, wear a waist trainer, eat boiled chicken and broccoli. Like, it's just very like, aggressive in a lot of ways. It's like, how can I dominate my body and make it be a certain way? How can I utilize workouts as punishment and, do caloric deprivation, which I think a lot of us have gone through. And, navigating those waters as a teenager and on my own journey, it's like, okay, I'm going to do ketosis. Okay, I'm going to do green juices. And it's just all of a sudden you find yourself on this roller coaster of insustainability. And it's just, you're exhausted. Like most of us are coming from trying to do all the things like you're saying, like take care of the kids, get to work, be a good wife, be a good partner, be a good friend. And then at the same time, like trying to take care of your health and wellness. And it kind of becomes a back burner thought for a lot of us until we're like, oh, I've got to go to spring break. Let me try to burn all these calories and get in shape. And so what T and I really wanted to do was create disruption in the industry and just say like, wait a minute, this is really out of alignment because if you really think about it, like if you have health and wellness, you have everything. But a lot of times, this health and wellness seems like a very daunting thing. So, what we wanted to do with the app is how can we make health and wellness simple? How can we take these elements that really are the pillars of health, which would be mindset? So, how do we really make sure that we've got good thoughts going on up here that are going to help create our reality? So, that's through affirmations, meditations with myself. We wanted to show like how we could do fitness that doesn't mean you're going to be on a treadmill for 2 hours, but rather being really effective. How can we utilize weight lifting and resistance training to heal the body? A lot of women, as we start to age, we get things like osteoporosis and these other things. So, how can we make sure that it's digestible, bite sized, very easy to do for the busy mama who's doing all the things for, the working lady who doesn't have a lot of time? How can we do yoga to be flexible and mobile? And how can we make food yummy and nutritious so that we look forward to our meals? Like, I know when I do my meal prep, it's one of the first things I think about. I'm like, ooh, I get like baked oats today. Oh, I'm gonna get this. It's like, so we wanted to bring joy into the situation. We wanted to make it easy and simple so that you no longer have to be on this roller coaster, because you're just on a steady burn of like, I can do these things and incorporate it into my lifestyle. And so no longer are we kind of trying to chase this proverbial perfect self. It's like, I am healthy and I am wealthy through that, because health and wellness is so interconnected, I think, for a lot of us. So that was really kind of the impetus and the ideology, is like, we've done these beautiful, amazing retreats that are week long. We've done these amazing, really intensive, longer 8-week and longer small group coaching programs, which are evolutionary and transformational. But we wanted to be there, a part of your journey on a day-to-day basis. We wanted to be there to create community for you guys. For people who are just like, hey, I got my steps in. Well, somebody should celebrate that. That's amazing. Hey, I'm meditating. I'm getting in connection with this self-awareness. Somebody should be there to help cheer you on and help walk that journey with you. So that's really what our goal was with the app. We transform every element of your life to try to make it really approachable, so you can ditch the calorie counting, you can ditch the really extremes, and just really connect in. So this was a big undertaking for Tameika and I. The world of tech, woo, like holy cannoli. We're like, yeah, true to G girl fashion. Like we are so like, jump both feet in, like, let's just do this. It's gonna be great. And so we're like, we'll build this app, will be done in 4 months. And it's it's been all consuming. But it's been such a beautiful journey, and we're a month out from now being launched. And I think it takes all the beautiful elements that we have. T and I are working around the world, taking all these lessons. We work with thousands of clients, and we really broke it down to digestible habits, to small switches, so we can build lifestyles. And this isn't a diet plan. This isn't a movement plan. This is building a lifestyle to make you glow from the inside out. And I think that's what we need, because women, we create this like ripple effect of change within each other. Like, when mama's happy, the kids are happy. When mama's happy or your sister's happy, it's just, I want to be like that. So it's contagious in the best possible way. And I think that's what T and I want our legacy to be in this space.
I love that. Building
T,
a
do you have anything
legacy.
to add?
And I just got the visual of like the domino effect, right? And it's just like
Yes.
one, and it just goes on and on and on. And that's how you bring, big transformational change that just lasts and endures. So I love that. And so, yeah, just going into back into the chat. That's my brother, Damone. Hey, bro. Hey.
Hey.
He's always a good big brother. So yes, Karen said that it was like resonating with her. And yes, it is a struggle getting into a routine for fitness and staying motivated. And that for me, this wasn't the first time in my life that I have lost this amount of weight, but this is the longest that I've ever been able to maintain. And that's because it wasn't like what Whitney said. It wasn't about deprivation. It was about recognizing that, we are human beings, we like what we like, but then there are easy ways to make substitutions. So I have embraced, and I have a love of chia seeds now in my smoothies and the protein pancakes. I'm just like, what? And then the protein pastas and all this stuff. I'm like, whoa. So every time, somebody's posting something or I see in the meal plan, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm getting excited. And I go to the grocery store and I'm just looking at things with a different set of eyes, or even just getting that motivation to get up early in the morning. And, if it's nice outside while it's still pretty warm where I am in New Jersey, getting my steps in, or if it's not a nice day, being able to jump in and watch a video. And so to think that you have been able to hone and collect all of your respective, experience working with personal clients all the way to, the tribe and the insights there, and pulling all that into an app. I mean, goodness, ladies, like, y'all just don't ever stop.
It's true. And I think one of the most important elements is one of the things that really speaks to me, because having lost 90 pounds, it's great to hit a weight loss goal, but then what, right? Like, we've got to maintain this, and nobody talks about the maintenance journey. So one of the things we do in this app and that we're planning to do with just this movement is to meet people where they are. So when you log onto the app, we're going to have a full onboarding questionnaire. Where are you today in your journey? How many times per week can you work out? And then from that, a plan will be derived that's going to meet you where you are. And that's the biggest problem, I think, in this industry right now is everybody's trying to do the 5 days a week and eating all the things and going to these extreme spectrums. And it's like, that's not going to be, you get wellness burnout the same way you get burnout in any other aspect of your life. So this app is going to meet you where you are. And then there'll be programs to elevate you once things become simple, because once you kind of have the foundation, it's easier to layer on than to start all the way up here. So I think Whitney and I are really excited about just welcoming everybody. You don't need to be a fitness buff. We have our first program is called Gentle Wellness. Like that's literally what you're going to be able to do. Just ease your way into this program. And we're really excited about helping people change habits that are going to last, because I think that's one of the biggest problems with this industry, the drop-off rates for diet programs, the drop-off rates for any kind of online situation right now. It's too high. And I think it's because people aren't meeting people where they are. And we're ready to do that.
You know, that is so powerful because, you know, you have people that are on the spectrum that are, you know, really super into fitness, you know, and they've been able to either keep their weight during the pandemic, or people that have, you know, put on weight during the pandemic. And that was like largely what kind of tipped it for me last year. But then there's this like, oh, well, I know I'm home, but I should be. And then the people who, you know, are doing it, and then they're, you know, it's like the spectrum. And at the end of the day, there can be some level of toxicity that, you know, you're trying to be something that you're not. And so I love the fact that you're paying so much attention to start where people are and respect where they are and use that as the jumping off point to the long-term transformation, because I think that's, you know, in part what has sustained you, as well as, you know, for me being able to see, it's like you're also transparent about your own respective struggles, you know, it's like, or, you know, really life, like, you know, you go on vacation, you're not saying, oh, I can't eat this because I'm in this part of the world or whatever, you know, you're leaning into like, hey, I want to try this food, you know, and I might go on vacation and I'm in the gym, or it's like, oh, you know what, I'm on vacation, but I'm doing gentle exercises. And so it's really about like embracing the fact that movement doesn't always have to involve going to a gym physically. It could be, you know, doing a hotel workout, or remember when you ladies were quarantining, when you were making your respective journeys to Bali and having to deal with the whole food situation, you know. But I loved seeing that, because it was like, wow, it humanized my coaches, right? I didn't feel like, oh wow, they're super strict. So if I decide to like have a smooth, you know, not a smoothie, but if I decide to have ice cream, oh my gosh, I can't tell them, you know, it's like, you know, it takes the shame out of it, right? And it brings in this realism, but also infuses, you know, the fact that, you know, when you do these things, you know, yeah, you may not want to get up 7 o'clock in the morning. And like now I get up in the morning and I walk like 4 or 5 miles in the morning. And some days I'm like, oh, but I know as soon as I'm done, I'm like, wow, I'm glad I did it. I'm usually listening to a podcast. Look, I'm a podcaster. And I'll come back with like different ideas, inspiration, or being able to like think about something that, you know, I'm able to like look at it with a different level of perspective. And I think for me, like I said, that's been the gift of working with you ladies, is that and this has been unlike anything I've ever experienced. And so that's why I was really passionate about having this time with you both today, to share with our community, because I think that, you know, wellness, and Whitney said it, like health is your greatest wealth. You know, you nail that, doesn't matter about the rest. It's like you have health. You can have all the money in the world and bad health, right? Or you can be wherever you are and be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Yay.
So much love for you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. Oh, Dee is here. Hey, Dee. Great conversation. Thank you. Yes, yes. So, T, you were mentioning about, you know, your 90-pound weight loss. So 90 for anyone who's like, oh, she said 9. Now I want to say 90. And you've kept it off. And, like, what is it that was like the switch? Because was that like your first attempt or your 14th attempt? Like, what was the switch?
Maybe my 1400th attempt. Like, let's be honest. I think being a woman in modern world society, it is very hard to not feel comfortable in your body and accept it. So we try extreme things. We try the diets, we try the teas, we try the pills, we try the Herbalife, we try the Weight Watchers. Like, anything that exists out there, I had tried it. And I would say anybody who's kind of explored all the things know that they don't happen in vain. They happen on purpose, because it wasn't until my 1400th and first time that I realized, okay, something's got to change. I've got to approach this differently, because all those things aren't working. There's a reason why 95% of diets fail. There's a reason why 98% of people who lose extreme weight gain it back. There's something flawed fundamentally with this system. So it wasn't until I tried everything under the sun that I realized that something has to change, and I have to adopt this long term. So my approach was small but steady. Whitney and I are big believers in habit formation. How can we remove the friction? This is one of the reasons why we developed this app. How can we remove the friction, remove the difficult, and just start somewhere? And from there, you can then pile on and make it a little easier. But let's get a foundation started. So I just started to make small habit changes. And I wish I could say it was more harder and more complex, but really all the attempts that I tried were harder and complex. But my actual successful approach was the simplest. And I always say this, and it's not easy, but it is simple. It's a simple formula. You move your body and you eat differently, like really and truly. And over time, as you start to eat differently, for me, it started with still eating kind of junk food, but just making it at home. So instead of going to McDonald's, I might, buy McCain fries and put it in the oven. So there, I'm slashing some of the trans fat in half. I'm slashing some of the calories in half. It's no longer deep fried. It's like baked, but frozen. And then you start to realize, okay, I can evolve that once you get healthier into peeling my own potatoes and chopping it up and putting it in the oven. And you start to then become a little bit more evolved once you kind of have a foundation of just starting somewhere. So my journey just started with me making food at home and going to fitness classes at the gym. It was a time before steps were popular. It was a time before Instagram existed. So it was really an opportunity for me to just do simple things and remind myself that and it's a beautiful reminder that the organic kind of simple approach really does work. And then it wasn't until I met Whitney, I would say, about 5 or 6 years ago, where I started to really connect the mind and what happens in our brain with the sustainability of this journey. Because you can lose the physical weight, but it isn't until you deal with what's going on in here that you will actually see happiness. I've come to realize that happiness does not exist within a six-pack ab. Happiness does not exist within raised glutes or thicker quads. Like, no, it just doesn't happen. What happiness is within. And I think I met Whitney serendipitously and divinely to get this message and to mold these two journeys together. So that's kind of been a high level story of how I've evolved in this journey and kept the weight off for 15 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh, 15. Like, that is unheard of. But you're right. If more people adopted a simplistic approach and then also incorporated the mindfulness, that all of that combined is where you can have that consistency and longevity. So Whitney, I know you have had your own transformation. And so what was it like for you because I think if I remember correctly, like you had done the yo-yo stuff and you talked about burnout in the beginning. So what was it that enabled you to kind of hone in on mindfulness and the power of the mind and as part of the transformation?
Yeah. So I grew up in the dance community. So from a very young age, I grew up in front of mirrors. And so, and then pair that as I started getting older with having this very yes girl mentality,
Mm.
and a people pleaser mentality. I am a recovering people pleaser. And it just set me on this trajectory of being so abusive in a sense with my thoughts and how I approach my wellness journey. And that was why really indicative of the roller coaster that I put myself on in that trajectory. And so it really came to this point of like, even in some of my darkest times, I started developing eating disorders because, you start to be ashamed of who you are. You start to suppress your cues. Like when I always say, like, when you're hungry and when you feel a certain way, when you're tired, these are cues from the body. This is the body asking for something. And a lot of times in our society, here, take the coffee if you're tired. Here, like, take this diet pill if you're not feeling pretty. And so it's like, we start to be very prescriptive and very dominating, as I was saying earlier. And so I started to recognize that, like, no matter what, just like Tameika beautifully and eloquently put, it's like, no matter how small I got or what size I was never happy. And then I would like look back at pictures of myself when I was younger and I was like, I was crazy. Like I was a stick. But at that time, I remember being so unhappy in my skin. And so I really took a step of like recognizing, like, it's not a body type that I'm pursuing, it's a feeling that I'm pursuing. And so that set me on a trajectory. And of course, I studied in India. I lived in Rishikesh, lived in the South. And so being in these areas where, mindset is just really at the forefront of what they do. You meet these beautiful souls that are just so happy and they're wrapped in a robe, but they have this glow about them that you were like, give me some of that. I want whatever this is, I need that. And so, they really just helped me kind of flip this ideology that it's not always about pursuing the external, it's about fostering and stoking the fires of the internal. And so that's really set me on my path of, I was really blessed. My mom was a yoga teacher. I grew up in yoga studios and retreat spaces. So I always had this kind of health and wellness around me. And so when I was, in my teenage and my rebellious age, I was like, Mom, you don't even get what I'm going through, right? And I'm going to blaze my own path. And then kind of going back and like going to Indians and like reconnecting with this information that I knew growing up, I was really able to see that actually is the cure. That is the answer. And it's what's happening within. So then I started to really dive in deeper into meditation, into affirmations. And after years and years and years of telling myself I'm not enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'll never be the right shape to get this part, and saying all these really depreciating things over and over and over, I needed to reprogram my mind. Like the ideology of neuroplasticity is like, we can change this, right? So we can put in good information, because the more negative patterns that we have going on and on and on, it's going to create our reality. So for me, in the beginning of my journey, it was super simple. It was just saying affirmations like, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And I would say it 108 times every morning. And there would be days that I would just break down and I would cry because I was going in deep. I was peeling back the layers and I was trying to reconnect and apologize to myself for all the years I didn't have that self-love. And so that's really what set me on a trajectory of like recognizing that we can share this with others. Like that sparked a light within me that was able to, I'm still on my journey. T and I are still like figuring it out. We're still on our wellness journey. It never ends. That's the big secret. But now when I go to the gym, I do it because I enjoy it. I go to like classes because I enjoy it. I do yoga because I enjoy it. I eat healthy because I enjoy it. And before it was because I was punishing myself. And having that simple switch gave me so much empowerment. Like I can like, food is knocked off that pedestal. And it's not that food changed. It's not that those things changed. It's that I changed within. And so I think that's really what mindset is all about. And that's why it's a huge part of every program that we do that I think a lot of people are missing, especially in the health and wellness approach.
Oh, absolutely. You nailed it. And I found that I have, by going through the program, I've been able to filter better. I'm not watching the TV and just the 24-hour news cycle and, things jumping up on my feed. I'm taking more digital breaks and being more conscious of not only, the things that are in my immediate, but then all of the electronic stimulation that, is accessible through our devices. And even if I control my, use of it, well, then somebody could send something to me that then, gets me off on another tangent. So just being able to be centered and be still gives me a level of perspective. And again, I credit your philosophy in helping me get to that point where it's like, oh, wait a minute, digesting this information is putting me in that cycle that then gets me emotional, that then gets me wanting to go, which I was doing, eating 5 pints of ice cream a week. you know and being okay with it, because it was just like, oh, eating my feelings, like, oh, the pandemic and all this other stuff. And like you said, it was like a punishment, even though on one level, there was the part of the, I guess what they call that, the reptile brain, that was just like, oh yeah, you just need this to help you feel and do good. At the end of the day, it was like 5 pints, that's self-harm, right? And then it's the, oh girl, you shouldn't eat that, and all that stuff, and don't put them jeans on because you only could get one leg in. Whereas like now I look in the mirror and I'm marveling at the transformation. And yes, there's the physical part when I look in the mirror, but there's also the part that people don't see, right? The improved confidence and competence and all of those things. And that's why I was just like, wow, when I look in, especially we're at this time of the year where you're starting to look at, the evolution from, either a year ago or where you started the year to as you start to close the year. I like to do that. I'm like, wow, you know what? Thank God for you ladies coming into my life. And, and again, these were pandemic connections, right?
Yeah.
Prior to this, we did not know each other. We have still not even been in the same room together, right? But the impact, and that's the important part I want to nail, is like the impact that you've had has as crossed borders, right? Crossed time zones, crossed any barrier that existed. And so for that, I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you.
So I want to definitely go into the comments. Yes, yes, yes. Goddess, yes. And so, yeah, so this, and then Karen had said, yeah, you're right. I tried so many times also and not being able to do it the right way, and it hurt myself in strains and pains. Yes, definitely come and join the program. And then, oh, my friend Derek is here. Hey, Derek. Hey, Derek. Yes, rituals are everything. And, it's consistency is key. It's like those little, you think like, oh, I did this and it didn't make a difference. And it's just like, wow, the next day it may not be as hard or as challenging. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I might add a little this. And you're getting to have a different relationship with your body. You're getting to have this opportunity to appreciate her for what she's done, right? So it transforms that relationship, that previous relationship, to be one of love, and not to sit in a space that you're also feeling bad about the past. You can't change the past. It's already happened. It's recognition of what it is, appreciation for where it has brought you, because without that, you would not be in the position to have the awareness that then leads to that transformation. So that's really, really what's important here. So yeah, so I know we are almost running up on time. Yes, and I want to take one more minute because, like I said, I also know that Whitney's doing this on a Saturday. And I'm being mindful of the time zone because I think T and I are closer on time zones than me. But I want to give you both, an opportunity, because we have these people that are on here, and I want to be able to, and for any links that that are mentioned here, I'll put them in the comments, the description of this post once it publishes on YouTube and Facebook, so you have them. I'll have the link for the retreat, as well as the $150 gift code that you can use, Blaxit 2021. But also, I want to tell, for those people that might be interested in doing both, the retreat or joining the tribe, I want to give you both a moment to plug away. So, ladies, go for it.
I'll start. So Yeah, sure. So, first things first, you are cordially invited to this experience of the whole experience retreat. It's life-changing, it's transformational. And if you're someone who's feeling very isolated, very alone, very tired, very burnt out, this is your solution. Like, it's not by chance we're speaking and you're needing to hear this message. So, I would say if you want to chat on the phone, message us. We are, like Whitney said, we are here for you. We are holding space, going into this intentionally wanting to hold space for you, so we can chat it through and we can talk a little bit about what you can experience. So definitely recommend that if this message is happening, if it's hitting you, it's hitting you on purpose, and we'd love to be able to explore that together. And then when it comes to the program, this is a really exciting time to join us. It's a very exciting time. Full disclosure, we are going to be in transition. So as you join the program, you can definitely start one of the programs that exists today, and we'll probably be pivoting you into the beta testing of the app, because we're moving into a far more I want to say convenient and accessible way to get to your goals. And we're so excited for you to be a part of this journey. What you'll come to realize when you start to work with Whitney and I is that we're your homegirls. We're not your typical health and wellness influencers that are on a pedestal talking down. We are on this journey with you. We are walking with you. We go through the muck with you. We have our low moments with you. And we're just so excited to grow our tribe and grow this message and grow this level of authenticity and realness across all platforms. So whether or not you can come to a retreat and experience it in person, or you want to join us virtually to experience it in the palms of your hands, we're just so honored, humbled, and excited to be a part of your journey. And we welcome you. Like, we are so here for you. The tribe is ready. We have a dope sisterhood of people who, the minute you come into our world, will welcome you with open arms. And we just want you to feel seen. Women, specifically who we serve, give and give and give in this society. Y'all are the OGs. You got mothers, sisters, co-workers. You guys continue to pour. And we're just ready to have you take some of that giving energy and turn it inwards. And we want to just be that space where we can encourage you to do it. So that is my elevator pitch of just the work we do, the excitement we have by welcoming you into our sisterhood. And just message us, DM us. I'm sure you're going to leave our handles, and we'd be happy to have a conversation further.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Any parting words in addition, Whitney? Because I know it's early for you, so I'm thinking there might be something on your brain.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined today, either watching the live or the replay. By being here and taking some time to, one of my favorite words is to educate. The Latin verb of it is to spark, to create a spark within. And I think that's really what we create with each other when we create community, when we create spaces like that you've created. We're so honored to be here as your guests. Is let's just create sparks within, and these little tiny changes. Like, if you take one thing away from today, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to be a little bit more aware of my thoughts and what's going on. Or, maybe I'm just going to be a little bit more open to a new idea of how I might be able to be a little bit more kind to myself. Like T and I always preach the word of compassion and grace. Like, how can we be more compassionate and kind and loving to ourselves? Because that is going to create that ripple effect and create beautiful energy and change. So just really encouraging you. I hope this is creating a spark within to just say, hey, maybe there's another way. If you feel like you've been kind of on this roller coaster trajectory and you're ready to get off this ride and try something new, either with it in our programs, or just joining in other groups, or just taking a step back and recognizing that you have all the answers within, by leading with a modicum of more love and more intentionality, then I think T and I's job is done here for the day. And I'm really, really honored, not only to have you in our tribe, but to get to connect with all your beautiful followers and community. And we're just blessed. So thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you both. And thank you, like, again, for the time, your talent, and the universe putting y'all together, because goodness gracious, without the two of you coming together, I know I wouldn't be on this wonderful, wonderful wellness journey. And so you're like the Wonder Twins. I'm probably aging myself, but that's okay. So, and then because that said, oh, grace and gratitude, ladies, things. Oh, thank you. Yes. And then Karen, yes, I will be putting this in the Blaxit Global Facebook group and Passport. And Ernestine says, hey, Ernestine, great information. You all look amazing. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Oh, it's been resonating. Awesome. Well, thank you again, ladies. And like I said, I will put everything in the description. Please take a moment, check out the website. Definitely, definitely, definitely. You will thank yourself for making the decision to go to one of these transformational retreats, and then the added bonus of having $150 off. So definitely take a moment. Looking forward to seeing you again, and take care. Bye for now.